and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Heshain Ali and let's have a look at the headlines first. Appropriation Bill for year 2021 passed in Parliament today. US launches 3.6 billion rupee initiative to assist small businesses and to economically empower Sri Lankan women. News in detail. The final reading of the Budget 2021 was passed in Parliament a short while ago with amendments.
Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Mahinda Rajapaksa presented the appropriation bill for the year 2021 in Parliament on the 17th of November. The second reading debate took place for 4 days from the 18th to 21st of November. The second reading of 2021 budget was approved in the Parliament in last November with a majority of 99 votes. A total of 151 MPs had voted in favour of the second reading of the budget, while 52 MPs voted against it. Accordingly, 16 dates have been allocated for the committee stage debate, and today is the last day for the committee stage debates. The third reading division was commenced at 5 p.m. this evening and the final vote took place hereafter. Traditionally, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, in his capacity as the Minister of Finance, made the thanking speech at the end of the debate today. He told the Parliament that the government had spent around 70 billion rupees to combat the COVID-19 pandemic when the budget was presented, and by today the amount has stood as 80 billion rupees. He also added it will be around 90 billion rupees at the end of this December. Prime Minister also added that the new government was capable of settling all due loan premiums with a right vision on the country's economy. He also added that the new economic principles which prioritize the local products were embraced by the whole country. After the thanking speech by the Prime Minister, the vote on the Budget 2021 took place and the final reading of the budget was passed in Parliament with a majority of 97 votes. 151 were received approving the Budget 2021 and only 54 voted against the budget. Accordingly, the third reading of the budget was passed with amendments.
The Committee on Public Enterprises reveals that the Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka has faced a loss of 232 million rupees due to the failure of the e-pension project. Moreover, the committee meeting of the Committee on Public Enterprises, chaired by COPE Chairman Professor Charita Herath, last Wednesday added that through the Google Loan project by ICTA wasn't executed, more than 1 million rupees have been spent to release Google Loan equipment from the customs and 64 million have been spent for project promotions, thus falling under the list of its failed projects. ICTA was entrusted with the responsibility of developing the hardware and software for the e-pension project using government funding to initially provide pension online to the pensioners of the Western Province, covering the District Secretariat, the Armed Forces, the Department of Prisons, the Department of Railways and the Department of Civil Defence. However, given various software and hardware issues, the project was not implemented island-wide and was abandoned on the 1st of November 2013. COPE also revealed that 278.54 million has been dissipated by ICTA as a result, and that the situation is no different when considering the other failed projects. Moreover, through the Google Loan project by ICTA with the objective of providing internet access island-wide wasn't executed, COPE revealed that 1,851,322 rupees have been spent to release Google Loan equipment from the customs and 64 million have been spent for project promotions, thus failing under the list of its failed projects. COPE Chairman also revealed that the 2017 corporate plan, which was made at a cost of 2,737,000, has been discarded without being forwarded for approval, and the COPE Chairman directed ICTA to conduct an investigation from 2003 to 2019 and provide with a report on this regard. The United States has launched a new 3.6 billion rupee initiative to assist small businesses in tourism, technology and commercial care industries and to economically empower Sri Lankan women. Accordingly, the private sector development project, which is funded through the U.S. Agency for International Development, will provide technical assistance and financing to small businesses in the tourism, technology and commercial care industries. It will also help Sri Lanka weather the economic impact of COVID-19 by providing much-needed financial assistance through which businesses will be able to expand job opportunities for women and increase profits. The initiative will promote innovation and entrepreneurship and provide incentives for Sri Lankan financial institutions to support underserved communities in rural areas throughout the country, and finally, it will encourage businesses to hire more women. In the meantime, the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea, Woon Jin-jong, at a ceremony held in the Foreign Ministry, has handed over a donation of $300,000 worth real-time PCR test kits to Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena in commemoration of the 43rd anniversary of establishing diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and the Republic of Korea. While expressing satisfaction at the ongoing development partnership between Sri Lanka and South Korea, the Ambassador Woon Jin-jong invited Korean investors to explore more opportunities in Sri Lanka in key sectors including LNG, renewable energy, infrastructure and digital economy, and more Korean tourists to come to Sri Lanka once the COVID-19 related travel restrictions are lifted. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break. Welcome back after the break. Chief Epidemiologist of Ministry of Health Dr. Sudat Samaravira recommends that it is advisory to reopen the country for tourists under the travel bubble concept. Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Samaravira made these observations today morning, addressing a webinar organized by the State Ministry of Primary Healthcare, Epidemiology and COVID-19 Prevention on the way forward for travel, tourism and events with COVID-19.
Yeah, with the global current experience with this type of virus, what be that the most safest thing is that to have the people to have a restricted movement. So when the people come in having a common factor, that they can have a more relaxation within that commonality. So because of that, that we recommend a bubble concept. That means that the people come as a group. Or they may not be coming as a group, they may come in from a different part of the country, world, but will stay together during the period that they are staying here. So then that they will be that quarantine that at the initial period at the same place. Then the movements also will be doing within the same manner and within that limited environment. So that the mixing up with the local people will be minimized. So with that, we will be able to prevent, if by chance if anybody is there, that infected person, that will be leaking into our society. But anyway, that our people also will have to be stopped with them for providing the services, that those people will have to go some sort of quarantine at the end of the tourism period.
In sharing the knowledge on the measures necessary to be taken in reopening of the country for tourists, Professor Neelika Malavige of Department of Immunology and Molecular Medicine of University of Sri Jawardhanapura states that it might be suitable to conduct antigen tests at the airport for the tourists.
Actually, everybody is interested in antigen testing. It's cheaper and faster. So you would want to get if you can get a result in 15 minutes, while you want to do a PCR test that is going to take us such a long time and at least 24 hours. So the sample is the same. You take it from the nose, inside the nose, but the difference is the sensitivity of the antigen test is less than the PCR. So you might actually miss some positive people. But having said that, the antigen test picks up most of the individuals who have very high virus in their respiratory secretions. So in other words, they pick up the majority of the people who are going to infect others. So if an antigen test is positive, it is positive because it is very specific. So but you have to weigh the pros and cons of these things when you open up when is the antigen test suitable and the PCR suitable. So if everybody is anyway going for quarantine in 14 days, so at the airport it might be suitable to do an antigen test and send them off to a quarantine facility because they are anyway going to be isolated, especially those who are going to be isolated in a single room. So if they develop symptoms, you can do PCR. Yeah.
That means if antigen test is negative, you can't consider him as COVID negative.
Because it is in the airport, anyway I believe that they are undergoing quarantine for another 14 days. So if you happen to miss anybody by any chance, still they would not be a threat to anybody else as long as they are going to be confined in a single room.
Former State Minister of Finance Aaron Wickramaratne, who joined in the budget debate on the Ministry of Justice yesterday, highlighted that the general public should have a right to intervene in the committee stage of the Parliament debates as the laws and regulations are made for the general public.
It was certainly unwise as a process to do that because the citizens of this country do not have an opportunity to question lawmakers or laws that we enact in this parliament. In some countries, they have the opportunity of post-enactment judicial review. India has it, the US has it, but Sri Lanka does not have it. Our citizens have only a small window. At the bill stage, they could go to the court and they could question it. But when you bring amendments at the committee stage, that opportunity is taken away from the citizens of this country. Justice must be done, but justice must be seen to be done as well. That is very important, that it is seen to be done.
Stay tuned for stock updates. Break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a mixed note today. The all-share price index gained 4.30 points to close at 6,609.39, and the S&P SL20 dropped 13.23 points to close at 2,628.49. Turnover was 3.8 billion rupees and over 476 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And with that, we'll be winding up for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care and good night.